In 1974, Joe Theismann found a new team after Washington head coach George Allen traded a first-round draft pick to the Miami Dolphins, who still held Theismann's NFL rights.
When I came back to the National Football League, I happened to come to a football team that had two very old quarterbacks. Bill and Sonny were in their late 30s, and I figured this is an opportunity to spend 2 or 3 years learning from people like that and being with a winning organization, the Washington Redskins, and I had everything mapped out very, very well. Little did I know that both of them would become the Rock of Gibraltar when I got here.
I came to town, and at my press conference said, I didn't come here to sit, I came here to play. Well, that pissed them off. And so rumor has it that they were out together having a little bit of libation, and they sort of made a pact that it didn't matter which one of them played anymore, as long as he didn't, me being the he. And so it was an uncomfortable quarterback room for a while.
Despite the friction with 40-year-old Sonny Jurgensen and 35-year-old Billy Kilmer, the 25-year-old quarterback did everything he could to get off the sideline.
He was hungry, and a lot of the veterans looked at him as being a little bit of a hothead because he was out there doing everything that he could to be seen. He wanted the coaches to know that he wanted to play. He even volunteered to be the punt returner. Sonny and Billy really thought he was just showing off.
Theismann spent his first 2 seasons on Washington's special teams unit.
I had great confidence in my ability to play, but I wasn't the most patient person in the world. That's why I returned punts. I kid these guys today with these 6- and 7-yard averages. They run 4.3, 4.4s. I said, I'm a 4.7 guy, and I got a 10-yard average.
Pro football was not on the docket 365 days a year. But in Washington, Joe could keep it going throughout most of the offseason. Joe Theismann was everything that we would see later. Then, at a young age, when the Redskins weren't any good yet.
I opened a restaurant as a third-string quarterback. Yeah, I opened my first Joe Theismann's restaurant in 1975. I gave myself a year to get settled in.
Joe knew that his name meant something, that people respected it. That was part of his confidence, that he was going to be the starter. He was going to be the name. He was going to have a name that everybody would want to be around.
In his 5th year in Washington, Theismann became the starting quarterback. Over the next 3 seasons, he won 23 games, but Washington never went to the playoffs. Then, in 1981, they got a new coach.
The first year under Coach Gibbs, it was an interesting time. I'm not Joe's. I'm not his. My personality with anybody, it seems like it has to grow. Ask my wife. She'll tell you. It's just, I either grow on you or you grow on me. It sort of works that way a little bit. We used to sit in meetings. Now, keep in mind, our meeting started at 7:30 in the morning. Joe'd been up all night.
I could hear them come down. Some of them would be boom, 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 into the meeting room. And so I knew when Theismann was coming because his steps outside, which I could hear, and it would be in the room. And he'd immediately start talking.
I'd be at the end of the hall going, "Hey, Coach, how's it going?" He would turn around, he would look, and he would go, and he would walk right back in his office for another 15 minutes because he just couldn't deal with me at that particular time of the morning.
Gibbs and Theismann weren't clicking in 1981, and it showed on the field. Washington lost its first 5 games.
Theismann looking over the middle, and this is picked off.
Theismann's mad at himself. He shouldn't have thrown that one.
Our team is our quarterback and our head coach. Those two people have got to kind of be in lockstep. Joe has said the story. He went to Joe Gibbs and said,
Coach, we need to talk.
And I get a knock on the door, and I go to the door, and it's Joe.
I'm sure he was the most shocked person on the face of this earth at that time. So we sit down, and I said, look, man, I want to be your quarterback, but I get the sense that we're not on the same page.
He came in, and what resulted from that meeting, I think, is one of the most important parts of our relationship, and certainly as we went forward with the Redskins.
He said, I need 100% commitment from you. You have restaurants, you have TV shows, you have all these outside interests. I said, I'll get rid of all of them. If that's what it takes for me to prove to you that I want to be your quarterback, I'll get rid of them. But before you do that, give me a chance. Give me a chance to prove to you that I can be the guy.
Joe Theismann bringing the Redskins out of the huddle and up to the line of scrimmage. Dan Henning, the offensive coordinator, told us yesterday that Theismann is the most prepared and most motivated quarterback that he has ever been associated with.
Theismann ended the 1981 season with then career highs in attempts, completions, and yardage. After the slow start, quarterback and coach led Washington to wins in 8 of its final 11 games. Joe and Joe had found a groove.